empty followers don't pay bills. I feel like we went through a surge of everything being so hyper edited. You are the common denominator of what's like that signal. And if you stop that signal, you can't be annoyed that nobody's coming in. I don't even enjoy it. I don't even want to talk about my stuff. Like, I'm ready to walk away from an entire thing that I've built because it's no fun anymore. If I was starting out, honestly, for the first month, that would be all I would focus on.
Welcome to the very first episode of the Legacy Podcast. I'm Ryan from Legacy Production House, and we're kicking things off with none other than marketing expert and coach, Maja Howard. In this episode, we'll dive into social media strategy, branding, and what it really takes to stand out online. You'll hear fresh insights, real stories, and the kind of practical advice you can use right away to grow your brand and business. And this is just the beginning. In future episodes, we'll be bringing on creators, entrepreneurs, and industry experts to give you the tools and the strategies to level up your content, marketing, and online presence. Plus, we'll be hooking you up with free assets, resources, and behind the scenes tools. So check the description below to grab those and start implementing them today. So let's get into it. Here's my conversation with Maja Howard. Welcome, Maja, to the very first podcast of Legacy. Looking forward to having you on and talking about all your knowledge and getting some stuff from you. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, amazing. Well, thank you for having me on. I'm so excited to do this with you guys especially. And a little bit about me. I'm British, born and raised in Hong Kong. I've been thrown around a lot of different industries across my lifetime, from F&B and alcohol and events into personal training and martial arts, and then finding my love for content marketing, running an agency, and then combining all of those loves to becoming a marketing coach. So it's been a long and windy road with many ups and downs, but yes, in the last 2-3 years, I've been slowly building my marketing coaching business, and I'm really excited. I work with a lot of creatives, athletes, artists, and entrepreneurs and help them build their personal brands and really get connected with their businesses and build out their digital products and communities online. So it's exciting work.
Exciting. Actually, before we jump into the questions, how long were you doing your food and beverage for? And then you moved into the modeling agency as well?
Marketing agency was the last one, yeah. So I dropped out of art school. 18 years old, I moved back to Hong Kong, and the one request of my parents was that you can come home, but you have to find a job. So I dived straight back into the modeling industry. We were very fortunate, signing up for different agencies as kids in Hong Kong. The blonde hair, blue eyes was a good look for the Asian market. So dived straight back into working different projects. That was one of the first things I could get my hands on, feet on the ground, cash in hand, running around doing different jobs. And I'd never wanted to get a regular job, an office job, a 9-to-5, none of that ever piqued my interest. And so my goal was to stay out of that world for as long as possible. So jumping from different modeling jobs on different creative projects, that led to working events, trade shows, a lot of that kind of work as well. And then segueing into the fact that I was a high-functioning alcoholic at the time, my sister and I started meeting a lot of different people and doing brand deals with alcohol suppliers coming in and out of Hong Kong. We were connecting them with the bars and the managers and the different groups. So we actually, at that point, branded ourselves as the Howard Sisters. And that was my first sort of big push into personal branding, building any sort of Instagram following, and starting to actually really notice how building your digital portfolio online was worth something.
Yeah, cool. I also had the same parenting of, you want to leave school? Best you have a job. I was like, I went and got a job that day. That was it. I was out. Cool. So let's jump into some of the questions. What's the one decision or mindset that shaped the way you approach social media today?
Now?
Or social media marketing?
Yeah, it's shifted a lot in the last couple of months, honestly, as I've gone through a few of my own light bulb moments. But there's so much noise online, and it's so easy to put the power or put the origin of all your ideas into the hands of your audience and completely not really dive into what it is you want to be talking about and what it is you want to be bringing forward in the conversation. And I think it's really easy to overlook that part. And so for me, more recently, has been a lot more of a mantra of no more overthinking, just test and create. Because it's been the last couple of years, especially with the way the algorithms are going, and I've noticed it in a lot of my clients with higher follow accounts on their profile. You can spend hours doing a post and it flops, and then sometimes you spend 5 minutes doing something and it just takes off, and that happens to be the post that everybody wanted to hear. And so I think reminding yourself that you don't know what the audience wants to hear. And so keeping it fun, keeping it light, and playing a little bit with that has really been on my radar in the last couple of months.
Okay, so let's rewind back to the early days. What was the one thing that you were wrong when it comes to growing an online presence?
Empty followers don't pay bills.
100% agree with that.
Your follow account doesn't equate to income at all.
No. That's 100%. We've had plenty of clients in our that have come along, and so many followers, but no money coming in. And it's like vanity or vain or
vanity metrics.
Like vanity metrics. So many people are so concentrated on, I got so many likes, so many comments, and so many views. And it's like, if you're running a business, is that paying your bills, or is it you get less likes, less comments, less views, but those people are converting to paying customers?
Exactly. And look, it's a tough one as well. I've realized just as you asked that question, and looking at when I was starting to brand me and my sister together back in the early days, the go-to was with companies and sponsorships, because obviously we were modeling at the time. So it was a sponsorship exchange of products and services for posts that we were doing. It was that semi-influencer space, except with products and things that we'd actually tested for long enough and that we could stand behind. But even back in the day on the old Instagram versions, companies were sort of being given blanket advice from bigger media agencies or whatever, saying that, 10,000 followers is the minimum for an account to be worth anything. And I think that was then where people started to, I guess, hack the follow, unfollow, like, follow, unfollow. I mean, I remember doing that for 6 months. I built our follow account to pass 10,000 followers, 13,000 followers, and then, started posting about these companies. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, but no one's physically here. Or also like realizing that the people that I've just been following and unfollowing, like they might not be interested in these products. Like it was only then that the two kind of clicked, that it's like, hang on a minute, that makes no sense whatsoever. And so it gets me annoyed a little bit that was sort of set very early on as a precedent for Instagram accounts, especially now, because it's much harder to get to 10,000 followers than it was back in the day. That is a grind. Your first, like, if you are aiming for that, and especially if you're aiming for a community or an audience that actually then engages with the content as well, like it's a big task. It's a lot of numbers. So
that is a big task.
Yeah.
For real followers, it's a big task.
Yeah, for real followers. So I think it very much comes back to, and what I work with all my clients now is, what are your goals? What is the industry? And really making it your specific situation and figuring out what those target numbers might look like for you. Because, a company with, 3 or 4 locations somewhere versus an online store that can ship globally, they have different metrics that, make sense for the business to be running. And I think that's where I struggle with the blanket information, and everybody just takes it as same.
Yeah. So here at Legacy Production House, we are obsessed with bringing or making brands look visually professional, high-end, or world-class. Okay, so what's your intake on how much visual quality impacts conversions on social media?
I definitely think over the last 3 years, it's coming down less. I feel like we went through a surge of everything being so hyper edited, overview on Canva. And now, because of what's happening with the nature of AI, people are almost coming back to just wanting raw footage. But at the same time, again, balancing that out, it really depends on what your goals are, what industry you're in, what it is you're doing, and as well, like where you're at in your budget and where you're at in your journey. Because I don't want to sit here and say you have to have an amazing visual presence, because if you're just getting started with no budget, you need to just shoot and film and post and figure it out. But if you're, at a point where you're running a professional community, or you have a back end, an entire suite of products, courses, and services, well, then the branding just ties it all together so nicely. And it goes a lot further than if you have no branding.
I 100% agree. I think, as an example, a personal brand, when it's just yourself, it can be shot a lot on, just using your mobile phone, and you can get very high quality just using your mobile phone. But I think if you're selling products and services, a bit more of a high-end look showcases that you are a higher end brand. Low quality. Personally, I think low quality visuals equals low quality product, because we're looking at value with our eyes. We don't get to touch, we don't get to feel. But I totally agree with where you're at in your journey.
So no, I was just going to say to that point, what was I going to say to that point? No, exactly like what you were saying. When you're having a product or a service, the professionalism of it, when someone comes across your page, the ability to turn around and say they actually give a damn about what they're doing. So they've taken that extra time to make sure the settings are correct, make sure the lighting's a little bit, it does show how much more you've considered, like what it is that you're doing and just the presentation to the audience. And I think very much so it stands out. Yeah. Like if you haven't figured out how to sort the resolution on your phone and you're updating blurry images and stuff, like it just doesn't showcase that you're keeping up with the times as well. And I think nowadays, with how quickly things are moving, it also just shows that you're learning and adapting.
Yeah. I think as well, if you're learning and adapting, to slowly bring, no matter what you're using, a professional camera, mobile phone, doesn't matter, you're learning and adapting that skill to your presentation, your business and brand grows to a higher quality as well, I think.
Very much so, yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. If you were to sum up marketing philosophy in one sentence, what would that be?
Make it make sense for you. Like I think so many people try and use different tactics from different industries across the wrong thing, or they try and implement systems that don't work with their day-to-day of the business. And I think now that social media and the internet and AI is not a phase anymore, you've got to realize that it needs to become part of your everyday systems, whether that's being a personal brand or running a gym or having an entire business. You need to make time to integrate it and make it easy. And remind yourself that this is the most incredible tool that we have to advertise for free on these social platforms to hit the audience that you want to find out there. I think a lot of people still look at it as a begrudging task because they've been told they have to do like 152 different things that completely don't actually need to be done for their current situation. And it's why I enjoy people finding coaches and agencies like you guys as well, who, you're not going to sit there and tell a company that they need something when they don't. Whereas so many services, they go in there and they're like, oh, you must do this, you must do that. And then the staff are pissed off. Everyone's upset. Nobody's enjoying the process. Nobody wants to do it. It's all this I think there's ways to go about it and ways to go about it.
Yeah, nice. I totally agree. I would sum it up in marketing philosophy, focusing on you. That is your market, not what that guy's done or what this person's done. It's focusing on what you have to offer, and that's it. I've seen in the past companies that have a gym scenario. So a lot of politics happens in the gym sometimes, and when they break off, it's like, oh, these people are going to take students and stuff like that. what happened in a gym that I was in was a couple of coaches left and started their own gym. And the gym I stayed in, they focused so much on what they were doing to beat that person, to overstep on them, that the gym I was in shut down. It went into liquidation because they were not focusing on what they had to offer. They were focusing on what this other person was offering to try and, get back at them, I guess. So I think, marketing philosophy is to focus on yourself and what you have to offer. Ignore the noise and work with the team like yourself. Like we work really well together, you and your marketing strategies and content build out, and then our design and creation on the other side. And we're only focusing on our clients' goals and needs and budget and direction, that we ignore the rest of the noise and we only focus on that in unison.
Yeah.
So I think,
I totally agree. And it's also just completely taking out this race to the bottom as well. It's like when you're looking always around at what's happening, you're forgetting why you started. Also, that energy of trying to compete, usually exactly like what you said, comes at the detriment of forgetting that you actually have clients and a business and a community that you need to be focusing on. And so many people shift their attention into what is everybody else doing, forgetting the fact that there's more than enough room for everybody. You're probably not going to be the last gym on the block that's going to pop up. And so instead of figuring out how to fend off the enemies, it's like just make your location and your gym the most fun experience possible and share that on social media. And the rest of it, it does the work for itself. I think we've been pulled in so many distraction zones that everybody just forgets to mind their own business sometimes and just enjoy building what they're doing at the speed that they're doing it with the people that are around them, and really focusing on how to make that the best environment and what do those clients need to be hearing from you. It's like that's where the gold is, really.
Yeah, I just want to add to this as well, is simplifying what you're doing.
Yes.
I'm guilty of this.
I've
got like courses and everything. So I've got the Creators Vault now, but that used to be, I'd be able to sell that as single courses. I simplified it and brought it to one package. So you get all my courses for lifetime access in the Creators Vault. That's one offer, digital product. I have a single lead magnet that helps bring people in. And then I have my service, which is, helping create designs and videos, graphics and all that sort of stuff. So I've got 3 services now that are solid. And I think people, like you said, they get distracted by other things. And it's like, oh, I can add this and put this out there and put that. And you just give too much to your audience. I think if you're starting a business, you just need to focus on those few solid things, make them so good that people just can't resist to go, yep, I want that.
No, completely agree. And I think the one other element I'll touch on that a lot of business owners I feel overlook is, again, focusing on their clients, but even asking them what they need or they want first. It's like if you have people in your business that you enjoy working with, you want more of those technically. So instead of feeling like you're sort of throwing spaghetti at a
100%.
wall, trying to bring random people in, like how do you develop the tools and make sure that, again, just focus on those little bits of, it's just distractions.
Making the customer experience perfect.
Yeah. And making sure that they're like, because your biggest asset will be word of mouth. It always has been and it always will. No matter how much social media plays a part in, people finding out about stuff, people will always still ask. And also, no amount of social media will cover up the fact that you treat your clients like shit by the time they arrive to you. So you might be able to, trick them into your business. Well done. But if you have completely lost touch with the way that you're treating your clients or the actual onboarding process, I noticed a lot of this in the industry, especially with some of the coaching stuff. I mean, I've heard horror stories, yourself, Christy included, myself included, you buy stuff and then it's not what you expected. And it's because the person has spent so much time trying to get people on the outreach and the front end and completely forgotten about what happens when they arrive into your business. and that they actually are, paying for some sort of transformation or service or product, that if the quality isn't good, a bad review is going to do more harm to your, reputation than a post that flopped or something that didn't go viral.
Yeah.
So I think it's that as well.
Yeah.
It's like, where are people forgetting to put their focus? And, again, especially in the world of AI, it's going to keep coming back more and more to the humans that can remember that we are having a human experience with a lot of this.
Yeah. Talking about the social media. So social media moves fast. What's the biggest shift you've seen in the last 12 months that most people haven't caught on to yet?
I don't necessarily know if it's been a shift in the general market or just a shift in where my rabbit hole of world is going online and my algorithms are taking me, but I've definitely noticed the more successful people that I've been following, or the companies and the strategies that I've enjoyed following, have shifted away from this pain point marketing and into more of a positive possibility kind of marketing. There's been this very interesting, almost, it's almost like a little shadow side of the wellness industry that's come to light in the last 12 months, where it's like companies profit off of a lot of people staying stuck, but also just reminding clients themselves, you have to be aware of the message that you're sending out in regards to who's showing up at your door. Because if there's a disconnect there, then you're not happy that the right clients aren't showing up, but you haven't realized that you're almost calling in that type of person. So I think, shifting away from the pain point marketing has been a big one, but also I think just the rote 5 tips to X, 4 tips to that. I feel like that era is kind of dissolving a little bit, and we're moving less in line of frameworks and more in line with storytelling, which I love. But that's really been a big shift that I've seen, on those 2 points.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the shift from negative pain points to positive outcomes. One thing I also have noticed myself with a lot of the market that I'm in and the people I follow and learn from is, and the people who are being very successful, is it's a shortcut. It's you'll hear a lot of things. How long does it take to be a AI marketer over 40 years old? And they're like, in just 21 days, you can be this. It's that, you don't need to do a 2-year course. You'll get done in 30 days. You'll be able to film films in 14 days. There's those sorts of things that I've noticed that's been shifted. It's away from the pain points into the positive, and it's gone from long courses to short courses. But I have also noticed the difference between the long course and the short course is the short course is about a specific thing, which I think most people don't see. And if you actually watch and listen to what they're actually saying, it's very much learn how to film good quality videos in, say, 14 days. In those 14 days, you will learn all the basics on how to make sure that you film film quality content. I have a masterclass, a very short masterclass, but it will give you the 5 foundations on how to film better quality videos just with your mobile phone. And then, you've got an instant win. It's very fast. It's actually free. So if you're watching this, click it. You need help with filming,
grab the link.
Go there, do the masterclass. Also, grab the link wherever it is. And I also give away my mobile filming starter kit, which has like a PDF of all the things that you can buy and stuff, plus my VSL formula for high conversion videos. So definitely check that. It's in the link below.
The courses for sure. Well, you and me, we realized even last year when we were creating that AI course, month to month, the content was changing. It was shifting. We couldn't even put a box on it. So exactly like what you said, it's coming back to finding those fundamentals and keys that might not change necessarily, or a course that's on something very specific where you get that outcome. It's almost like looking at a YouTube video, right? But then being able to purchase or download or have a little short course that will take you through the step by step, and then you understand, all right, I've got that down. Now on to the next thing.
Yeah. Here's a question for you for marketing. If a brand comes to you with no presence at all, what would your 90-day plan be?
30, 60, 90, 3 months. All right, well, first month would
3
be
months, yeah.
making sure that the copy that was correct. Like, what are they offering? What is the mission? What is the soul of the business? Like, what is the message? Honing that in first. I feel like a lot of people are very quick to start, but then forget that they haven't actually spent enough time looking at the roots or looking at the why. And when you start too quickly, it's very quick to then get into that process of just post for the sake of posting and forgetting why you're even starting all of this in the first place. So the biggest thing, especially if it's a client that I don't know and I don't know their background, it's the founder's story is a big one to dig into. The company itself, if it's not just a personal brand, the mission, who they are actually targeting is the big thing. Where are those people hanging out online is also one of the first things I try to target, because that then depends on what we're creating and in what style. Is it text heavy? Is it video heavy? Is it this? Is it that? Like, and then figuring out what their capabilities are or how long that they've even allocated for marketing. Because something I do find quite incredible, again, when companies or businesses come to you, it's like they want the marketing side, but then there's no budget allocated or there's no time allocated and they're already busy as is. So it's sort of you figuring out what are those systems initially, even if it's just a rough outline of how they are going to be collecting content or how they're going to be talking with their staff or how they're going to be actually developing this story over time. So that would be first off. I don't know if that would take a whole month or not, but at least the first couple of weeks. But then phase 2 would actually be figuring out what that content looks like and making sure we've got a nice flow into different call to actions that also don't feel like the person who's posting feels like they're being pushy. I've noticed one of the big things that I've been overcoming with clients a lot quicker now is the quicker that I can get them standing behind their offer and feeling like they want to shout it to the rooftops, the quicker everything else will work. Because if you're not happy with your message and you're not ready or prepared to talk about it 1,000 different ways, there's already a disconnect. And honestly, I've just got to the point in my life where there are other people that can deal with those clients, and they're just not the type of clients that I'm bringing on board for the work that I do. I want people to give a shit about what they're putting out there and like to be able to stand behind it and get excited, because when your excitement fuels the business and the creativity with the marketing, I just feel that's where so much of the magic happens and the unexpected results. That if you've got a dead weight dragging you down that doesn't want to do it, doesn't want to film, doesn't want to post, doesn't want to do anything, well, then you don't have to. So that's like the biggest sort of precedent we set. I like to see my role a lot more as a tool to make sure that they are finding their own perspectives and they are finding their own voice within it, because as much as you can outsource certain things, again, that soul of the business, I mean, you guys see it as an agency as well. If that disconnect suddenly starts to come in between you and the client, again, there's just breakdown of communication and then breakdown of everything else. And then it just sort of nicely fizzles out into nothing. And then it's like, oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
It could have been so great. And so I think it really is that seeing where they're at in their marketing and their understanding of that and just filling in those gaps and then reminding them what their goals are and setting the expectations so that we've then got a posting schedule or something that makes sense for their unique thing. Because the 90-day or the 60 and the 90, the next 2 months will really depend on, again, what it is they've got, what their budget is, how much time. Because if you come to me and you're able to post 3 times a day for the next 3 months or for eternity, that's very different to somebody that's coming to me that says they only have the ability to post once a week. So it's just then managing the expectations 100%. On the back end of that and reminding them that the results will come down to their speed and also their excitement for spreading the word, really.
Yeah. Sticking with social media, what is an outdated tactic that you wish people would stop doing?
I think the false deadlines. That always still pisses me off. I don't know how that's still working as a tactic on people, because clearly it is, otherwise it would have been dropped. That's always just made no sense to me. Because as soon as you move your deadlines once, or you don't honor your deadlines or your commitments, you've trained your audience to know that that's not a real thing. And I think a lot of people forget that when they do things like that, or they try some of these tactics, and again, then they wonder why a certain type of client shows up that they don't want. It's like, you've got to really figure out what game you're playing. Yeah, so I think that's a big one, the false deadlines, the false sale ends or the massive discounts. That's the only other one where it's like, oh, it's 18 million worth of value for $9 only today. And it's like, I don't know. Those ones,
I do understand how that works. The contrast between price of like a lot and you get it all for this creates urgency. It's definitely a good tactic for sales.
I do understand it. I think it's tough with this one because it's all nuance. Like some people do it well, but other people lean on it, and then it just, you can see that it's very empty. I think that's where it becomes annoying for me, is when you can just see that it's crap on top of crap, that now instead of it being very expensive crap, it's now $9 crap.
Cheap crap.
It's just cheap crap. That at least then you won't be, like, you can't be so upset that you fell for it in that sense. Like, that's those little games. Yeah. I hate those little games that people play online. I think, I just feel like there'd be more use for creativity than that.
In your experience, how much of social media success is strategy versus execution?
It's 100% execution. Strategy doesn't actually come into play unless you're even getting things out the front door. So you can spend as much time as you want planning, but until you start doing the execution, I've noticed 100% of plans change as soon as you start executing. So I think coming up with like enough of a rough strategy, but reminding yourself that no amount of planning or strategy will outdo getting on with it and then taking a look and making sure you're heading in the right direction. Yeah, strategy without execution there's no plan, that doesn't work. So execution 100% first.
I have to totally agree with you on that one. If you've got a good team behind you, you can have a strategist that can pivot like yourself. Then you can have a team that does the execution like us at Legacy, where we can create content quite fast at a high quality and get that out.
And I think the quicker as well you get over the execution side, I think the more comfortable you can get into the flow of reminding yourself that the nature of the algorithms and everybody's memory, like, I don't remember what I liked yesterday, let alone...
Neither do I.
Let alone could recite the last 3 things or, even that I looked at this morning. So I think it's that just reminding yourself as well that in any of those situations, yes, it does feel scary, but the quicker that you can go through it and just, even like what you said, having a team behind you always helps because you've got that fallback to brainstorm with. And you've also got that almost like those cheerleaders going, we got you. Like, you're good, carry on, and then once it's out, then we figure out the next bit, and it becomes a lot more exciting once you can see that there's an audience to engage with. And when you can shift into that mindset of, okay, now this is a game of how well can I communicate what it is that I do, that people start rocking up in my business. You are the common denominator of what's like that signal. And if you stop that signal, you can't be annoyed that nobody's coming in. So, yeah.
100%. All right, so sticking sort of with that same thing, if a client does come to you, they have good messaging and poor visuals, or the opposite, which is easier to fix?
Visuals are easier to fix, I feel personally. I'm not sure people with not as much of a visual eye would see that way, but that was another post I put out recently. Polish a turd, it's still a turd. Like if your copy, if your message, if the core of what it is doesn't make sense and doesn't move people or doesn't communicate effectively what it is you do, no amount of pretty pictures will take that further. And I think that's again where a lot of people sometimes then rely too much on their visuals and think that just by having something professional up there saying something, it will by default bring people in. It really is the combination of the two. But at the end of the day, the visuals, you can grab attention, but if for any reason that's then not making a difference to your bottom line, well, then it's the messaging. So, then the messaging is, for me, the messaging is the biggest. It sets a little bit higher than visuals at the moment for me.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. Visuals can be fixed a lot quicker than the messaging. That's why when we do branding for clients and we work on their messaging, it takes time to get that messaging down, to get it in the direction that they want. Visuals, you can go, okay, just do these couple of things. Wipe your camera before you film. Boom, better quality.
Have a logo or a watermark. Like there are certain things. Yeah.
Yeah, so I totally agree with that. When it comes to content, how do you balance done is better than perfect, but with maintaining brand authority?
I've just been in enough mentorships, courses, groups, long enough now that it's the same advice. Out the door is better than perfect. I mean, even to your 80% is perfect. One of my other mentors said 70% is perfect. Like if people at the end of the day aren't receiving the message or aren't knowing about what it is that you're doing, again, none of it matters. None of it matters. How are people going to find you? Like the world is so noisy right now. There's so much out there and people assume that just because you've started something, it's like, oh yay, I built it, now they will come. And it's like, no, they are being pulled everywhere else because that's where their attention's been taken. So unless you can find a way to, bring them to you, what else are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That whole 80% done is way better than perfect. That is your perfect,
It
like
is.
We said, like I mentioned before, my perfect is different to your perfect. And most of the time, people are not going to notice that 20 or 30% difference.
Well, exactly.
They're not going to notice that, but they are going to notice the messaging. And the messaging is if you're not relatable to them, if you're not helping them fix something or achieve something that they want to achieve, they're going to scroll.
Yeah.
They're not going to stay.
Yeah. And I think it's also reminding yourself, are you really going to allow yourself to spend that much time on something that nobody's going to remember? And I think this is also where then the strategy starts to come in with clients as well, to remind them that the job is saying one thing in 1,000 different ways. So, and again, it's that reminder that you don't know what's going to hit. You just have to keep finding different ways and different analogies of expressing your message and getting that out there.
Talking about clients, can you share a client success where a small tweak made a big difference?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've had two. Honestly, it's really been these last couple of months where it's making sure that my client is behind the message. That's honestly been the biggest tweak. If you can sort that out, where the person that's driving the business is 110% excited to get the word out, that honestly changes the entire game. I feel like when that happens, the rest is gold.
Yeah, we had a client as well where they came to us and we helped them sort of rebrand a little bit. So we made just a couple of small tweaks to their messaging and how they can present themselves, and gave them some ideas on content. Literally started bringing in new clients instantly, started selling like private one-on-ones, personal coaching. Yeah, started getting bookings. We told them to up their money, so people got to book in to have a consultation with you, like pay to have a consultation with you, and then bang, they were getting personal clients, they were getting paid for their consultations, they were getting people on a wait list,
Yeah, because the sales part is so much. I mean, you say it's sales and marketing. And yes, they are two different beasts, but at the same time, they work together. Like the whole point is that there's a through line. And I mean, this was something I found when we were running the agency, 3 years ago, that we struggled with as a marketing and content agency, sending leads to the business, and then the company's not doing anything with those leads or completely flopping the sales and then blaming the marketing on the fact that they're not getting new customers. And it's like, no, we gave you people. We brought them to the door.
You're getting leads.
If you can't bring them across the finish line, there's a touch and go with that too. So yeah, again, I really, it's been the last 2 years, but working with you guys, seeing the nature of what's happening online and the fact that more and more people are popping up as solopreneurs with the help of AI and things that are moving forward. We're just in an era where you can't forget the fact that, again, we are humans, and the most important part is where your passion is or where your curiosity is taking you. And I think one of the biggest things I also clicked with one of my clients earlier this year that made the shift was reminding them that they get a say in the direction. Like, I think a lot of people go into business or they go into content and then they forget that if they start chasing trends or start just chasing these empty metrics, they're then pulled down a path that they don't even want to be doing the content anymore. I mean, I've had some clients come to me and they're like, this is horrible. Like, I don't even enjoy it. I don't even want to talk about my stuff. Like, I'm ready to walk away from an entire thing that I've built because it's no fun anymore. Because they've just, when you're in it sometimes and you don't have that opportunity, like, this is what we enjoy doing. We enjoy looking at what's going on in the landscape and then bringing it to our clients and putting it together. It's like, I had this amazing visual. I'll have to find it. As kids, we had this brilliant Lego box. And it's just, I feel like that's what I do with my clients. Like, I pull in the Lego box and it's like, right, what do we want to build? And then what's the best strategy and tools and tactics from the entire world that I've been watching online? And there's so many ways to build a business. There's so many ways to do your marketing. There's so many ways to do your messaging. There's so many ways. And as soon as somebody says, this is the only way, red flag. So I think it's that. It's like, again, we're coming back to so much of this being down to the creativity of the human, and the fact that these tools have now allowed us to become more of ourselves. That's really where the crux of a lot of this sits. It's like, how are you staying inspired? How are you getting excited about your business? And what do you want to actually talk about? And then, balance it between what you can see that your audience enjoys looking at, but also the conversations and the gaps in the conversations that you want to bring to the forefront to show that you know your shit. And that you're staying up to date with what it is that you're doing.
So here is a question to help the audience. What is the quickest win that someone can implement right now to improve their reach and engagement?
The quickest thing they can implement to improve their reach and engagement. Well, I have a course on that. It's honestly, if you...
There we go. I'll plug that below. If you're interested in Maja's course, I'll put that in the description below.
So I do have an organic outreach strategy. So again, with reach and views, you've got to remember when you put things out into the algorithm, depending on how good your copy is, depending on how your B-roll, it'll only take you so far. If you want to jerry-rig that, there's only two ways. You either pay for it or you do it yourself. So either it's ads to boost your reach, which if you need ad stuff, talk to Ryan. My man Ryan knows what he's talking about. But if it's organic, I do have a little course in terms of how do you find profiles, because that would make sense for you to start engaging with. Because this was something I found, again, running the agency here in Hong Kong, a lot of our clients were on the ground. And so it's very easy for a marketing agency to turn around and say, I'll get you reach, but those people are not walking into your place of business because they don't even live here. So you also have to remember, this is where your goals and your bubble around what metrics you're focusing on really comes down to the client, the business, and the industry that they're in and what it is that they're looking to do. But I tested this guide before I put it into, this was what my job was at the agency for our clients. I would spend 15 minutes, between 15 minutes and half an hour a day on each of our clients' back-end Instagram accounts, engaging with different accounts. Because it's brand awareness. You've got to think as a user online, if you saw a brand like one of your photos, you'd be like, and you'd go and have a look. A lot of people online, they don't have massive amounts of followings. They notice when notifications come through. They notice when people are paying attention. And so what I designed was a 30-minute protocol where you have a list of your targeted clients. If you know there are particular partnerships that you want to build or brands that you want to work with, start engaging with them. Allocate this. The course I built, it allows you to even allocate it to a member of staff. If you have a receptionist or you have an intern or you have someone that can just be on the accounts doing it, the nature of the social media platforms, they reward you for spending time on the platforms and for keeping people on the platforms. So if you're able to sort of put in a organic outreach protocol, like within what it is that you do, I will hands down, die on the hill that every gym or every brick and mortar location, if they have a receptionist or a member of staff that's in charge of their social media, if they are not doing this, they are missing out on so much money. Because like the second that you can, allocate an actual human and not just AI to do this type of outreach, because I think this is also where people are outsourcing the wrong things so quickly. It's like they're outsourcing your front-facing customer service to a robot that might fuck it up when they could actually be putting that in the hands of a human that could genuinely create meaningful connections with your audience and actually bring people in on a case-to-case thing. So when I tested this with a martial arts gym in Hong Kong, I did Monday to Friday. I did half an hour engaging within the local area. Because again, this gentleman had a similar issue where his entire network was mainly over in the States, but not locally in Hong Kong to bring them into the gym. So within 4 weeks, we grew his Instagram following by at least 500 followers within Hong Kong. And we also filled 2 workshops, like women's self-defense workshops. There were 10 to 15 people in each. Yeah, 10 people in each. That's 20. That's 20 new bodies coming to your gym within a month that wouldn't have otherwise worked. And that's with 0 ad spend. That was me just engaging with people and sending out messages, inviting people to come to the gym, setting a date, setting a workshop where, so I think a lot of people, they're very quick to go, oh, why aren't people seeing me? Why aren't I being, followed? And it's like they completely forget that there is a game to this. You either pay for it or you spend your time doing it. Like if you want quicker results, there are ways to jerry-rig the system. You just have to want it. Otherwise, enjoy the slow organic burn of, social media brand awareness. Like you I think people are very quick to want things that they don't want to do the work for. And I just, that's where you kind of have to start checking in with your own gut and going, am I going to do this or not? Because it really is on you as the business owner to make that decision and then implement the systems and the protocols that allow that to happen.
Or if you are ready to put some work into investing in your business to grow your Instagram and some clients, definitely do Maja's course. I'll drop the link in below this video. Okay, so if you had to start from scratch, let's say your Instagram got hacked and then it got shut down and you just had to start from scratch. You had no contacts and no budget. How would you rebuild from scratch now?
Okay, but I have
2025.
But I have my capabilities as me, or I'm like a brand new person to all of this. To be fair,
Let's
it doesn't really matter.
Say as a brand new person.
I get again. So expectations.
You've got some ability. You know how to post some content. A little bit. You've got your brand messaging down. To
be honest, I feel like this would be able to happen regardless if you really wanted and you really want to build up something and get reach. But I think within the first month, if you can be posting twice a day and spending that half an hour doing organic outreach, you'll get a lot further than you even realize. Like that's really baseline if that's all you wanted to do. And by posting twice a day, like a photo or a caption or a small reel, I think again, where a lot of people overthink this is the time that they allocate to content creation versus the phase that maybe they're in for growth. Like if you want growth and if you want quick movement, you need more output. So if you're starting from scratch and you don't, and you haven't collected a lot, like your goal is to find 2 things to post about for the day that lead to some sort of call to action. Every single post needs to have some sort of next step. I think this is where a lot of people also forget when it comes to social media and they go, oh, I don't want to be too pushy or too salesy. And it's like, yeah, but if you're not going to sell your products and service, who is? Like everybody just assumes it's a nice to have and people will come to your profile and look at it as more of a directory if they don't know where to go next. They'll be like, oh, great, thanks for that information. Now I will go find somewhere near me. And these people are like, no, come here. So if I was starting out, honestly, for the first month, that would be all I would focus on. Post twice a day. If you can, more. I mean, if you can do it throughout the day with stories and stuff, like get that volume under you to just see what's sticking and do the organic engagement, because then people will actually be able to be finding your account.
Social media has all been around a lot now with AI. So what role do you see AI taking in marketing, and how do we keep the human element to it?
I've fallen in love with AI. I really have. I think the capabilities are incredible, and I know I'm still using it as somebody who, doesn't even know how all the buttons on my iPhone works. Like it's quite ridiculous what it's doing. I think reminding yourself that when you're talking to AI, it doesn't have any context for you in your life. So as best as you can as the human is to be, and this is what I do with my clients now at the moment with the creating their offers and all of this stuff. It's great if you can use AI as an assistant, but the second you let it outsource your thinking for you, I feel like you've lost the game. AI is not going to do the work to the level of the heart that any human has. And so if you want to keep that connection, there has to be a heartbeat on it. So you have to be part of that process. And it's the same with any of these marketing brands or with any of these businesses. And even when we were running the agency, and I'm sure you have the same issues with your clients, it's like if they're not inputting their story, there's only so much content you can create from them because you're taking it from the internet and you're taking it from what's already out there. And so something that the AI models also can't do very well is to overlay different analogies and perspectives onto different industries. So taking a fitness analogy and putting it into business, or, taking an experience that you had in one area of your life and overlaying that onto a lesson that you've learned somewhere else, even if it has no contextual match. So this is where the idea generation, I think, looking at it more as an assistant and as a way to stop you from overthinking. One of the fun ways I've been enjoying playing with my AI at the moment is just going for a walk and just talking straight into it and allowing that to then give me back either bullet points or high level ideas or something that's more succinct from what it is that I've put out, and help me refine my ideas and refine my stories and refine my messages instead of assuming that it's going to do the work for me. I think this is another just general pet peeve I have. I mean, I was at a vibe coding workshop last weekend, and honestly, we'd spent all day trying to get this thing sorted. And the one thing that all of us wanted with our apps was an authentication section where you could have a login or a client portal or something. And for some reason on that day, it wasn't doing what it was supposed to do, whether that was the back end of the system or we figured out it was because we hadn't toggled on the right higher input LLM, machine to use. But anyway, this guy, Nick, bless his heart, he just got to the end and one of the other ladies finally got a bit of a visual on what the app was that she designed. And the first thing she turned around and said was, "Does it have audio?" And I think for me, I mean, we found it similar, last year, even when we were running our AI course, there were a few people that were like, yeah, but can't I just upload 4 photos and then push a button and can't it just come back with quality production level fucking visuals and everything? And it's like, yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
That would be nice. I'll just speak on that as well. We've had clients and also just people in general, they use AI wanting AI to do all the work for them, that they don't have to do anything whatsoever. They don't like putting in the work.
Yep.
It's like, why don't you like putting in the effort into the thing that you're trying to build?
Yep.
Do you not care about your thing? And then the other thing of what I think, like you said previously, is when they just use AI to do the thinking, a lot of people won't double check the copy. They'll just be copy and paste, or they'll just read exactly word for word what it says. And it takes the humanity, the human side out of it. It takes your story out of it, and it's just a generic thing. And I think people need to use AI as the assistant, like you said, then double check its work, and then add your heart into it.
Yeah. And that's the thing as well. It's again, it's going to develop over the next couple of years as to how quickly and how humanly it can pull together different concepts and stuff. And there are some incredible different writing tools that have now AI built into the back end, where once you're doing articles and you've been using it for long enough, it also learns enough about you that it can do it quicker. But again, it's that It's the people that are looking for that quick fix where they don't want to do anything, where they don't want to put in any work, where they want to push a button and then money just comes into their account. And I don't understand how we got to that mindset. Nice. Well, yeah, of course it would be fucking lovely. Wouldn't that just be great?
Well, it's marketing. It's the way that
marketing. It is marketing.
They market AI, that AI does everything for you, and that you as a nobody can not do anything, and it does it all. Absolute bullshit.
Call bullshit.
Call bullshit.
But this is it. And it's like, honestly, it's just reminding yourself that the different clients that you're ready to work with, that depending on their awareness levels of the market as well and the games that they're trying to play, like I've just realized not everybody's at that level where they're prepared to do it, and that's fine. There's things for you. But at the same time, like if you're really going to be foolproofing yourself against what's coming, you need to find time to figure out what your own damn opinions are and what your own damn values are. I mean, I came up against that when I was, what was it? It was just after my spine surgery. After I'd left the agency, I'd had surgery, I took a step back. I decided I was going to be going into doing my own thing. And I remember taking one of these courses from Dan Coe about, the digital economics and the creator economy and packaging your knowledge and putting it all online. And I was like, yes. I was like, this is what I've been looking for so many years. And module 1, question 1, like, what are your values? And I just went, like, I hadn't to that point, because I'd been rushing through life. And again, being a creative person, but living on the edge of your financial means, you move through life at a different speed. And I'd realized again, having built myself into an agency and built myself into a 9-to-5 that I never wanted, I thought throughout that process, there would be certain things that I may be able to fix later. And I think this is also where a lot of people get stuck or go down these wrong routes of falling for somebody else's system and thinking that I just need to be getting the money in first and then I will fix something, without realizing that by going down and rushing down that path, you've now built yourself to the edge of a capacity where you're going to even have the time and the headspace to now fix it. You think you're not busy now? Add fuel to that. Add more clients to that. Add more issues to that. Add more, customer problems to that. And now see if you have any time to think clearly and sort it out. Like, I think this phase of, sorry, carry on.
I was going to say, going off of what you just said there, is the time that I've been able to hone my business in was the time I went quiet with clients. So it might have been like a period where Christmas period, or
holidays,
or maybe we finished holidays, or maybe we finished a few clients' projects off at once, and then there's been a little bit of a stretch where I can actually just focus in on my business. And if you're trying to do that whilst having clients and doing all the extra stuff, it's just never going to happen. You don't have the capacity to think properly and do that. That's where you need to bring a team in like Maja and myself.
Very much so. And I mean, this is like, I've had coaches and mentors my whole life, whether I've been listening to podcasts for free or, finding different people's opinions, or now then actually paying for coaches. Like, it's funny, people want the shortcuts from a $5 course, when actually the biggest shortcut you can ever have is to find a mentor that actually has what you want and has the results that you're looking for, and pay for them and figure out that cost up front, because the taking one step forward and 2 steps back, like, there are only so many people that are resilient enough to keep going through that process themselves. And eventually they also still get to the point where they're like, this is so much more fun with other people and with mentors and coaches. Because when you get stuck in your own little echo chamber, like you don't know what you don't know. And if you don't have those touch points to kind of come up for air, like, you also realize you're suddenly running around these systems like a fucking broken hamster on a wheel, and half of it is null and void, or half of it can be fixed now by AI doing certain parts of the tasks, or, that would be sorted, the time would be taken off your plate so that you as the business owner can actually protect your time and protect your ideas and your creativity. Like, this is why scaling is so important. This is why, like, it's tough when you get sold the startup life of hustling through the thing and then building yourself up and out of a business. And that is the dream. But if you don't build yourself up and out of the business, it's very easy to get stuck in this circle of feeling like no one can do the work that you can do. No one can do it better than you can. No one can replace it the way. And you're doing all these tasks that, one, don't need to happen. But two, if you just gave yourself like an hour a week to just relax, you might even find a better solution quicker. Like,
the key to business, the key to a successful business is not working in your business, but working for your business.
Exactly.
Outsourcing the tasks that other people can do.
Yeah.
You do the one task that only you can do.
Yeah.
And then outsource the rest of the tasks to a team that helps you free up. So then you're now, let's say you're a personal brand, you're the face of your brand. You get to just go out and make content. Somebody else puts it all together for you and puts it out for you. And then you're just getting to do the stuff that you love.
I have my list, and like one of the ways that I sort of, again, approach it with my clients as well, especially if they come to me and they're a personal brand without budget or without anything and starting from the beginning, it's like, okay, well, just remind yourself, you've got like a list. Who are going to be your first hires? And now make sure that as you're going through the process of doing it yourself, you're also aware. It's like, okay, I can create content to this level of my capacity, but there is no point killing myself over editing for 5 hours when I don't know how to edit, or do a certain tool when I don't know how to do it, or do a certain this when I don't know how to do it, when in, 3 months of you maybe just doing it a bit more scrappily, you can then pay somebody to go do it, or, figure out within your business. The thing that still blows my mind to this day is the fact that people don't budget a marketing percentage from their client income. Like, I don't know where it's going, or I don't know what they're trying to do. It's like your sales and your marketing is the lifeblood of your entire business. How has that not been incorporated in the budget? Like, people will spend so much on the right damn camera or the right tripod or the right this or the right that. And then you tell them to pay for a marketing team and they're like, no. But then they don't want to do the work, and then they don't want to do something else. And then it's like, okay, well, what do you want?
I did a post on, the budget of marketing. You must budget marketing into your budget. Like Nike, I think they spent like $27 million a year.
It's disgusting.
On marketing.
It's disgusting. I know guys that
Coca-Cola,
run.
it's like 30 million.
Oh, yeah.
But you don't have to obviously spend that much as a I can't even say the word.
But it's all relative.
But you still need to budget something.
Yeah.
Something needs to be budgeted to marketing, unless you're willing to put in that 30 hours a week of outreach and 30 hours a week of creating content and 38 hours a week of doing.
Yeah, but again, I will say
you can put that into paid ads. You can get
The only nuance I will add to that though now as well is that, again, it really comes down to your expectations and your time frame. Because if you're patient and if you're able to know that this isn't going to be something that you need to be making an income for, and understand that you could be going through this process of building over the next 2, 3, 4 years. I mean, I've seen personal brands, they don't have a marketing team. It's like it is them and maybe one other person that answers emails. And they've managed to build their business to, 100,000 a month plus in profit, $1 million a month plus in profit. Like, I've watched it. And I think, again, it just comes down to patience and practice. But how many people have the foresight to do something for 2, 3 years without getting results, knowing that the compound will only hit down that point? A lot of people give up. Mm-hmm. And this is also then where the connection comes back down to the passion and the drive of either the owner or the personal brand or the client that you're picking. It's like, what work do you enjoy doing so that you can be honing your craft? And then everything else is built around and off of that. Because if you stop honing your craft and get caught in the editing and the back end and all of this stuff, and then you start hating it because that's not what you signed up for. I mean, I see all these people, all these beautiful artists online, and then they're complaining about creating content. And I'm like, you're really complaining about that? Like, you're really going to complain that you get to paint all day and that the one thing that you have to do is capture a little bit of video so that people actually know how to find your art? I think there has to just be this big shift as the opportunity that's available for social media. And if you don't see that, I don't know. I tip my hat off and I wish everybody the best of luck out there. But for the people that don't see the possibility of what it's capable of. Or also, the other side of the coin to that is people going to a marketing agency assuming that they know how to do it. Like, there are some crap marketing agencies out there. A lot of companies will go to somebody and be like, okay, do our marketing for us. But they don't know the why. They don't know the reason. They don't have the heart. They don't see what you see. They don't know your clients. They don't know what's going off. And if you aren't able to articulate that to a team that can then help you craft your, your actual verbiage and the mission and the visuals and the heart of the business that draws people in, I just find everybody's very quick to overlook so much of this. Again, forgetting. I think maybe because people are just exhausted and they get tired, and it's like, okay, I just want somebody else to do it and I want it to work. And it's like, it will, but we really have to come back to, why are you doing it? For why? Why is this going to help somebody? Why would they pick you over somebody else? Yeah, for why?
All right, that wraps up our very first episode of the Legacy Podcast. Huge thank you to Maja Howard for sharing her expertise and insights on social media and branding and marketing. If you want to dive deeper into Maja's world, I'll drop her social media links below this video in the description so you can connect with her directly. Her main platform is Instagram, so definitely follow her there. And of course, if you want to keep up with everything that we're building here at Legacy Production House, make sure to follow us on Instagram at legacy.businesssolutions. Don't forget, in the description, we'll always be dropping free assets, tools, and resources to help you level up your business, your content, and your social media presence. Thanks for tuning in. And if you got value from today's conversation, hit that subscribe button, share this episode with someone who needs it, and stick around. We've got a lot more coming your way. This is Legacy Production House signing off. See you in the next episode.